getting into ad hominem attacks. You know,
It's worth getting into it because
he might be right or he might be wrong.
Is my mic working?
bullying, right?
Can I get my mic
right
working?
or he might be wrong. But either way, it's irrelevant what his personality is. We're not interested.
Okay.
That's not an issue.
Liz, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. My mic's working now. I attempted to add you, but for some reason your profile is not coming up. Can you add Darwin's Deity to your circle so that I can PM you?
Yeah, I could do that.
And I'd be glad to explain the situation to you. I have another room open that will be free of trolling.
Yeah,
okay,
and
I can explain.
are you
Excuse me
going to
for talking.
explain what a Gettier case is there? Evolution False? Are you going to explain what a Gettier case is in the other room?
You're interrupting me. You're interrupting me.
Are you going to explain what a Gettier case is in the other room, Evolution False?
Okay. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about, List. Can you add Darwin's Deity to your circles?
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay,
hey, Yaniv, be sure to get back to me and let me know if he tells you what a Gettier case is when you go into his other room.
I just think we shouldn't turn this into sort of a personal. Let's talk. We're all here now. Why don't we talk about Gettier cases?
Okay, List, could you also do me a favor? I will send you a chat invite, and it needs to be accepted from Darwin's Deity.
Yeah, I'm not that technical about these things. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, Evolution False. Would you like to talk about Gettier cases here, Evolution False?
Add you here for some reason. I don't know why your profile's not showing up.
Would you like to talk about Gettier cases here, Evolution False, or maybe explain to us what's wrong with the hypothesis of universal common ancestry? And tell us a little bit about how there's evidence for the intelligent design hypothesis. Are you enough of a black belt to do that, Stephen J?
Yeah, List, let me know when you've added Darwin's Deity.
We're ready to entertain any arguments you have.
What's the user? I see your profile, Stephen J. Fooled. Is that the one I should add?
No, add Darwin's Deity.
Okay.
I have a couple different profiles. This is one of them.
With all due respect and out of pure humility, and I humbly say this, for those of us that are not familiar with the what appears to be the feud that goes on between you and Darwin, it doesn't sell well, dear sir. And Jack, as intelligent as you are, and as persistent as this other guy Darwin is, and we see the faults and everything, it just doesn't sell well. Come on, give me a chance, Liz, before you bark at me, all right?
I was just coughing.
Serious. Oh, I thought you were again. You know.
Yeah, no. I'll mute. I have a cough. I'll mute.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I would hope that you guys figure out some way, maybe to bury the hatchet a little. I'm not asking for what a miracle, but it doesn't sell well. It's hard for people to come in and understand who started it, which came first, and people might
I'm in complete agreement with OG. Why don't we start from scratch, have an adult conversation. We can start with Gettier cases. You can each take turns explaining it, or I can debate Stephen J. Gould on it if he'd rather. I think and we can clarify the issue without any attacks on personality in either direction. Just pure intellectual conversation.
Oh, and by the way, Jack, I was listening. Just a minute, Darwin, and then I'm going to shut up and I got to go take care of Mom. But by the way, I was listening to some of your reels from a year ago, Jack, and you are the rambunctious one. It was interesting watching these just on my YouTube TV, and I think it's you guys have really arrived to a point where you've got this down to such finesse. But maybe there's a little bit of a catch-up game here involved with others of us. All right, take care.
Okay, well, all I was doing was asking Darwin's Deity to show us that the hypothesis of universal common ancestry is either unfalsifiable or ad hoc or falsified or logically incoherent, or that he has he can cite a rival hypothesis that better meets those criteria and has greater explanatory virtues than the hypothesis of universal common ancestry, such as the hypothesis of intelligent design. So he would have to show us how there can be evidence for the hypothesis of intelligent design by showing us how that theory could be falsified, how it's not ad hoc, and how it generates specific predictive expectations that have been empirically confirmed. Alternatively, he could try to give some argument that those kinds of things aren't necessary for there to be good reasons to believe a scientific theory, right? Now, with respect to the Gettier cases, I was trying to get Darwin's deity to explain to us how, right, that doesn't count as how the example of the pasteboard sheep, the person who believes that there's a sheep in the field after seeing a pasteboard facsimile of a sheep, right, how that doesn't actually count as a justified true belief.
Well, that's
right?
a fair question, I think. So, Stephen, can you give Stephen a chance to respond to that?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing I would like more than for Stephen to respond to those questions. So I yield the floor to him to give us his arguments. Go ahead, Stephen.
List, you're probably not aware. I haven't spoken with Jack Angstrom. Excuse me for talking while you were interrupting.
We're not going to get the actual arguments, right? We're going to get a rehearsal of personal history rather than actual debating.
If I can mediate for a second, with you, I think why don't we start this as a purely intellectual, ignore the past. Let's start from scratch here, and let's have an intellectual conversation. Neither of you should reference the other person. You could think of it as an argument.
Okay, List. I'd like to finish speaking when I was speaking to you.
Okay. Yeah, but that was really rude. At least tell Jack that you're not going to respond to him.
Yeah, okay. Xbox, I was speaking and I was interrupted, okay?
Were you answering
Xbox, please don't tell me I was rude when I was interrupted.
Jay, okay? Were you answering the question that was raised?
This is exactly what I've been talking about. So
the question
obviously,
that was raised,
I'm going to be interrupted. So would you like to...
Jay, are you going to answer the question or not?
Okay. List, would you like me to explain the situation to you in my room, since there are going to be chronic interruptions?
Well, my answer to you is the same as what I just said to Jack. If the explanation is about personal history, I'm actually not interested in...
You made a request of me, and I'd like to explain to you from my point of view what is going on here. Either you want to hear it or you don't.
Well, I'm not interested
Obviously, good. Then I won't explain myself then.
Okay, but not on my behalf. I'm not interested in personal history. I'm interested in just...
Okay, good. Well, then I have nothing else to say.
So it doesn't look like Darwin's deity has any response to the objections that were raised.
But Jack, I'm not interested in your view of his personality either.
No, I'm just asking him whether he has any response to the objections. Are you seeing any, Yaniv?
Well, look, I think we should be talking about the substance and ignoring...
I asked a specific question, Yaniv. I asked him,
you're both
I asked him whether he had an argument against universal common ancestry. I asked him whether he had an argument for intelligent design. And I asked him how, in the case that was cited, right, of a person looking out their window, seeing a pasteboard facsimile of a sheep, and coming to the belief that there is a sheep in the field when, in fact, there is a sheep in the field, one that he didn't see, how that doesn't actually count as justified true belief. Now, do you see Darwin's deity giving any response? Do you see this dominant debater here giving any response whatsoever to those questions, other than to recount irrelevant personal history?
Why don't we give him a chance to...
Well, let's give him a chance. So, Stephen,
you're antagonized. By saying it that way, you're goading him. Let's just give him a chance to discuss the issue, not your personal history and not his personal history. I know you guys... Sounds like you guys have a long personal history. I don't know where. Just why don't you guys can we just discuss the issue as if it didn't involve you two? Let's pretend that it's not Jack and Jack.
I'm totally happy to stick to the issues.
Yes, well, but don't speak to it as if you're disagreeing with me. You're very polite when I talk to you, and same thing for you, Stephen. You guys talk to me. You don't have to talk to each other. I'll be a mediator in between. So you don't have to communicate with each other. No attacks on either direction.
I'm happy to see Stephen J. answer the questions under any circumstances. We've been trying to get him to answer these questions for years. Just go to stupidcreationist.com. You'll see those same questions posed there.
Give him a spot to jump in there if he can.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Why don't we start? Let's leave the person. The two of you interactions. I'll ask the questions for each side. Okay. Maybe, look, Stephen, we were talking the other day about what a Gettier case is. Can you maybe define how just to make sure we're talking about the same thing, can you describe what you are seeing, an example of a Gettier case and your objection to it? And Jack, please don't interrupt him. Let him explain it.
List, as I tried to explain earlier, it's been my policy for over 2 years that
Oh,
I
he's not going to
respond
answer the
Jack.
question again.
Jack,
This
please.
is precisely what we're talking about.
You're not answering the question, Stephen. You haven't answered the
Yeah.
question or not.
Jack, he's talking to Liz. Just give him a chance, will you?
He's not answering the question. He's
Let
bringing up the
him say
personal
this first,
history
and then
again.
we'll address the issue of whether we can get a real conversation going, and what it would take to get a real conversation going. Okay, so what were you going to say, Stephen?
What I'm attempting to say, which I won't go into the history because you've said you don't want to hear it. I'll just tell you what my current policy is. I don't respond to anything that Jack Angstreich brings up in terms of my direction, nor anybody who merely repeats or parrots his questions to me. Do I respond to that as well?
Okay, so look, Jack, I think, Jack, you and I don't disagree we disagree on a lot of things, but not the Getty case, right? So are you comfortable with me talking to him without interruption about
objection that I'm bringing up about the Gettier case is the same one that you brought up. So what he's saying is he's not willing to address that objection.
Well, but I didn't bring it up because of you. I didn't.
He's also saying that if
came up
anybody,
naturally in my conversation with him.
listen to me, he's also saying that if anybody asks him, right, how can the hypothesis of universal common ancestry, right, be objected to, right, and how can the intelligent design hypothesis be supported, that he refuses to answer that question because it's an objection that I have happened to raise, right? So he's not actually able to debate those issues, right? He's saying that whoever raises those objections, he's saying that whoever raises those objections, right, he won't actually answer them because I happen to have raised them.
Is that well?
So
let's
you
find
can't
out.
actually debate the issues.
That's your claim, but I don't believe that to be the case.
That's what he just said.
No, he's saying that if someone is just acting as your as just a translator for you, he won't do it. But look, I had a discussion with him completely independent of you. It's not the same. I'm not even sure we have exactly the same objection. I don't, we haven't spoken about Getty for a long time. Or
Hello.
Okay, so I understand you guys are buying my Christmas holiday song collection?
But yes, we are. We already ordered.
Video. You admit that you like that video too.
I have. I think it's very funny.
It's a great video.
It's hysterical.
It is hysterical.
It's a sign of notoriety, at least.
Yeah.
But Darth, I've been saying you've been a good debater, and these people don't believe me. They don't believe me, Darth.
No, I think
we don't.
He's a good interrogator. He'd be great working for the FBI as long as he's playing the bad cop. He needs somebody to know balance. Maybe Danny could be the good cop and Darth could be the bad cop.
I don't think Darth wants to debate.
Well, I think no, I won't debate you because you're a scumbag. Because you double crossed me. Okay, you double crossed me. You decided that you wanted
Do you
to
even remember what I did?
Okay, why are you over talking me? Okay.
Because I like to over talk, Darth.
I wasn't talking to you. I was speaking to Danny.
If
this is going to be, listen carefully. If this is going to be a typical atheist shit show, then I'm not going to waste my time with a bunch of man-childs. Okay.
What did you expect?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I have to find out till I interact with people.
Okay, go ahead.
But Danny's a scumbag, and he knows why he's a scumbag. If you want me to explain, I will. Okay. So now, if you guys want to mock me, that's all fine and good. But what I find is, can I listen, dude? Listen, I appreciate you inviting me on, but what I don't appreciate is when I'm talking, when I have, people who just overtalk. I'm not hogging the microphone.
You are fun to listen to, so go ahead.
There's no topic that's been introduced.
Okay. Well, what I do find is the vast majority of the atheist YouTube community, with rare exceptions, are ballless, feckless, spineless cowards. Okay.
Sure.
Pretty much
Hey, are you
describes
in
us.
the majority of the atheist community, or are you in the stream?
Yeah, the majority of the atheist community, many of them just refuse to have a dialogue. Like, for example, Doug from Pine Creek. You familiar with Doug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've known.
No.
Okay, I interacted with him twice several years ago, and he got smoked. And so I called in less than a week ago. Nobody was calling in on his show, and he invited people to call in. And then he wouldn't let me interact with him. He kept on muting me, and then he proceeded to mock and ridicule me. So, he pretends like he's got brass balls, on his own show, but he doesn't want to have a level playing field conversation about, his atheism versus the Christian worldview, right? Because he knows that if he does have a
interaction, and I thought it was pretty even on Doug's part, so I'm not quite sure what you're referring to.
Okay, who's speaking?
Scott.
My name's Scott.
Okay, I'm looking at the screen. There's some that it's for who?
Scott.
Second up from the bottom.
Scott. Well, first, what you're not aware of, how you could conclude it was a level playing field, when the fact of the matter is I was muted much of the time, and then
you overtalk people and get loud.
Yeah, I do. Listen, do me a favor. Do me, Scott. This is very important. Scott. Do me a favor. Scott, do you have a
interact with? And I'd really
let one person talk.
This interaction.
Okay.
Push the bong away. Call 911. You're delusional. That's not what happened.
So wait, hold on. Can I ask a question?
I saw it, and you're delusional.
Yeah. Well, listen. Once somebody reveals to me that they're bullshitting and trolling, then I have no interest in speaking with you, because that's not what happened.
And I don't have much interest in you either.
A valid question to you.
All right. Listen, I have no patience. All I want is to talk with serious-minded, intelligent.
Yeah,
atheists.
that's why I wanted
not a fool like you, Scott.
Moderation. Everybody, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Like, we're not just gonna.
Leo, I've been talking to.
You're an idiot. I don't like you. Like, okay.
Look, if you guys want to have a serious interaction with me, I'm game for it. If this is going to be a shit show, look, okay, fine. Then I'll talk with one person at a time. If we're going to have somebody who is a man-child, let me just say one more thing. If we're going to have somebody who's a man-child like Scott, I have no interest in dealing with idiots like that.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk? Hit me up.
I'm an idiot. I'm just saying I saw things differently.
Okay, would you guys put him backstage? The guy's a moron. Maybe he's high.
I keep trying. So
Which one?
You said you want to hold on. You said you want to talk, Darth.
I'll talk with one person at a time.
Yeah,
okay?
hit me up. Hit me up. What's the mean?
Okay, well, okay, what's your name? Is it Leo?
Yes, Leo. You can call me Leo.
Okay, Leo, what are you?
What do you mean? I'm a human being.
Sagittarius.
No, I mean, are you an atheist?
Yes, I am an atheist.
All right, listen. Okay, this is my last warning. Okay, if this is going to continue to be a shit show, I'll leave. Okay. So whoever controls the room, please put a stop to these mental midgets so I can talk with Leo. Otherwise, I'll just leave. I'm not going to waste my time.
So you want to take control of the room?
Jesus Christ! Here we go.
Okay, because I'd like to talk. Leo at least wants to have an intelligent interaction.
Hang on, Darth. It's my channel. So Scott, everybody, please let Leo and Darth talk. And if you guys overtalk each other, I'm going to do my best to mute one or the other of you. Okay, go ahead.
Sounds good. So yeah, I am an atheist and a naturalist.
Okay, can you tell me what precisely is your atheism? And why do you hold to it?
Atheism for me is the positive doxastic position that God does not exist.
Okay, and how did you come to that conclusion?
Through several means. I mean, it's a difficult question to answer because I'm a doxastic involuntarist, so I don't believe that I voluntarily come to hold to particular beliefs. So it was just the experiences that I've had have led me to the conclusion that at least most likely there is no God.
So you're a biological robot?
I don't know what that means.
It means that you don't choose your thoughts. Whatever neural states you have are just simply from the cascading past events.
In a sense, yeah. But I would argue that there's still.
I don't converse with answering machines.
Okay, then why are you here?
Then there's no point. Well, because I don't hold to that view. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't actually make choices in any of your beliefs, then there's no point in talking to you, because therefore you're going to be in a position where whatever comes out of your brain from your perspective has been billions of years in the making. So I'm not talking to an agent.
Wait, you
Okay,
don't? You do know that most epistemologists adhere to doxastic involuntarism, correct?
Okay, I really don't care what most other people believe. I'm talking to you right now. The fact of the matter is simply this. Okay, so you conclude, you have a conclusion. You either believe that what is fundamental to reality is either personal or impersonal, right? Now, did you just wake up one morning and you just went, oh, what's fundamental to reality is impersonal? Have you always thought that?
I don't believe that anything is fundamental to reality. I believe reality is the fundamental thing, and I would agree it is impersonal.
That's it. Well, you just contradicted yourself.
How?
You said, I don't believe anything is fundamental, but then you said reality is fundamental.
No, I said I don't believe anything is fundamental, that reality is fundamental to, or that anything is fundamental to reality. Or no, the other way around. That reality is not rooted in anything else. Reality is the fundamental thing. It isn't rooted in some other fundamental.
So then what you believe is that there is an unimaginable number of plurality of things that are independent and existing eternally. Is that correct?
No. Tenselessly, yes, but eternally, no.
That's what. Well, then, so you believe that things just came into existence?
No, I don't believe anything came into existence because time is tenseless. Either you believe temporal becoming is not a real.
Listen, okay. So then you believe either you believe something is eternal or you don't.
No, the eternal is just the wrong word to use. Tenseless is the correct word.
Okay.
The universe exists as a nomological fact.
Tenseless has to do with grammar. Okay? Tense has to do with grammar. Okay. When we talk about eternal, we're talking about something. Please don't overtalk me. You're not as smart as you think you are. Okay. Listen, just because you fast talk doesn't make you sound smart. Right? Now listen carefully. So you do not believe that there's anything singular that institutes and controls what's possible. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's not how we establish what's possible or impossible.
No, I'm not talking to we. I'm talking to you.
Sure, that's
I don't want to hear
as a species, as a society. That's not how we establish what's possible and impossible.
Okay. I'm talking to you. Okay. Now, is anything impossible?
Of course.
Okay. What is it that makes anything impossible?
Contradictions in its state of affairs. And are we talking physical impossibility or logical impossibility? Because
I'm talking about metaphysical impossibility.
Well, metaphysical impossibility isn't really clearly defined in philosophy, so I would prefer if we
physical or listen, you can bullshit.
Are you done, Leo?
Okay. Yes, listen carefully. Okay. You said that some things are impossible. What is it that is fundamental, right? That will impose and secure is what's impossible.
Well, it depends on which form of impossibility we're talking about. If we're referring to physical impossibility, that would be the laws of physics. If we're referring
I'm talking about any impossibility at all.
Sir, please don't overtalk me. If it's physical impossibility, then that would be prescribed by the laws of physics.
No, I'm talking about any impossibility.
That would be prescribed by the laws of logic.
Hold on a second. Listen. When I ask you a question, I'm just asking for you to inform me as to what your position is. I just need. Okay. I'm not looking for a community college lecture. Okay. Now, I'm talking about what is it that is fundamental that will institute and secure any and all impossibility.
It depends on what kind of impossibility we're talking about.
Okay. I just explained to you all.
Well, yeah, but what makes something physically impossible is different than what makes something logical. I was done.
Okay. I want to know what it is that makes anything at all impossible.
What type of impossibility or possibility are we talking about?
I explained to you metaphysics, okay? Metaphysics governs everything, okay?
It does.
I want to know what it is. Look, it's not a complicated question. I ask this question all the time to people. All right.
It's not complicated.
So I want to know, listen, do you know what being verbose means?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Giving me a verbose response is not giving me a cogent response. I'll ask the question again, because all you're just doing is responding with verbosity. I want to know what it is that will implement and secure why anything is impossible. Anything at all.
I already answered.
Yeah, well, that answer was not satisfactory.
Well,
That's why
for
I'm
you it
asking the question
wasn't.
again.
But the thing is, it's not about
Yeah,
what you
dude,
consider to be.
listen,
Please,
listen,
sir,
listen
please
to
don't
me.
overtalk
Listen.
me. It's
No, I'm
not
gonna
about
over.
what you. It's not about what you consider to be satisfactory.
I'm not.
It's about my position. You're asking me about my position, correct? Well, then I gave it to you. It might not be satisfactory, but it's what you're going to have to work with if you're having a discussion with me, which is what you said you're doing.
Time.
Okay,
If
you
keep on
done?
responding
You
to
ready?
me.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to waste my time with these childish responses. You are not responding to me like an adult. You're just being verbose. No, you are not. Listen, dude.
How
listen.
have I been verbose? Can you explain?
I'm not. Listen, I'm not doing this. Okay, this is your last warning. Okay, all you're simply being is hyper talkative. You are not specifically responding to what I'm saying.
I mean, honestly, Ace, you want to talk Bible? We're talking Bible. The atheists are talking Bible, and you said I don't worry about it. Well, what is that? What are we supposed to do with that?
Oh, why do we have to find every goddamn little paragraph and sentence?
So throw the book away. Just put the fucking
It doesn't
book
make
down.
sense to you, and then just talk about it endlessly until it does make sense to you. It's never going to make sense to you.
So if it doesn't make sense, then put the book down. What do you need the book for?
Well, I don't care. If you want to put the book down, what are you doing?
I'm
over
asking
here?
you.
We're
I'm
talking
asking.
about-
I'm asking you. If you don't care what the book says, then why use it at all? Because we're talking about what's in the
I don't
book.
read the Old Testament by and large on this channel. I just read
Is it not?
Paul's
Is it
letters
not
and I
referenced?
tickle pink.
It's referenced constantly in the New Testament.
I don't care.
They
I'll read the specific references. I'm not going to go back to the Old Testament.
I know this is gonna probably get me kicked, but what you're saying is that you don't care what is true. I know I've said
I
this
don't
before.
care what is true, and you don't care what is true.
What is true? I know I've said
I
this
don't
before.
care what is true, and you don't care what is true.
True. I know I've said
I
this
don't
before. care
what is true, and you don't care what is true, and Will Freeman doesn't care what is true.
No, I do. I do. This is gonna probably get me kicked, but what you're saying is that you don't care what is true. I know I've said
I
this
don't
before.
care what is true, and you don't care what is true.
True. This is gonna probably get me kicked, but what you're saying is that you don't care what is true. I know I've said
I
this
don't
before.
care what is true, and you don't care what is true, and Will Freeman doesn't care what is true.
No, I do. I do.
I don't even know how to define true.
Where do you?
No, I do. I do.
I don't even know how to define true.
Where do you get off saying?
I do.
I don't even know how to define true.
Where do you get off?
I do.
I don't even know how to define true.
Where do you?
I do. I do.
I don't even know how to define true.
Where do you get off saying that I don't care what is true? Because I'm asking questions about the book that you think is true.
I never said it was true. I just said isn't
the book that you think is true.
I never said it was true. I just
about the book that you think is true.
I never said it was true. I just said, isn't this interesting?
Is it you think is true?
I never said it was true. I just said, isn't this interesting?
Is it or isn't it?
You believe it's true, S.
What? What about it is true? Some
Well-
things are true.
Okay, I deal with people like you on a regular basis.
Cool.
I'm not easily bamboozled. Now, I want to know specifically why anything at all. What is it that is fundamental, okay, to all things that makes anything impossible? It's a simple question.
Well, it's nuanced. What kind of impossibility are we talking about?
Okay,
You
I'm
seem
waiting
to
for your answer.
Well, yeah, I've given it to you. You seem to think that something that is physically impossible is impossible for the same reasons as something that is logically impossible. That's not the case. So you're going to have to specify particularly what you mean when you say impossible. Otherwise, I don't know how to answer your question in an honest manner. I mean, you want honest answers, don't you?
Okay, you're doing it again. My patience is very quickly evaporating. Okay, I want to know why is anything at all. Okay, is it impossible for me to jump to the moon?
Physically impossible? Yes. Logically impossible? No.
Okay. What would make anything at all either logically impossible or physically impossible?
Either the laws of logic or the laws of physics.
Okay. Now, are the laws of physics eternal?
No.
Okay. So how do you know that they will continue in the next 10 seconds?
I don't. I presuppose the uniformity of nature, generally given the consistency and applicability of our physical models.
Okay. Yeah, that was just a bunch of gobbledygook in that last sentence. Okay.
Sure. If you think so.
Listen. Do you think by being verbose you're sounding smart?
How have I been verbose? Can you please explain?
Okay, you're not getting this. You're probably just accustomed to talking this way. Okay, it's a bad habit, right? Normal people don't talk that way, right?
Are you going to respond to anything?
Are you a school teacher, Darth?
Now, you said the laws of logic. Are those universals?
As well, which laws of logic?
All right, look, dude, I'm not doing this because every time. Last warning. Listen, last warning.
I'm trying to be honest.
Last warning. Listen to me. Last
logic?
warning. You're not listening
logic?
to me.
What are we talking about here?
Hold on a second, Darth. You don't get to give warnings here. Just stop.
No. I will
behave like a gentleman, or I'll boot you.
I really don't care if you boot me. Go ahead.
I don't really care if you leave. So
good. I don't care. Leo, I'm just curious. Curious. Leo, how old are you?
25.
It doesn't fucking matter how old he is.
It does matter because I deal with a lot of immature males on the internet, and I want to know what his age is. I want to see.
Leo, just give me the word.
You can go ahead, kick me. I don't care. Okay. But you see, every time I ask you a question, Leo, it's always this multitudinous, definitions. Okay. If you're 25 years old,
you know what nuance
you need to start interacting me like you're an adult. Okay.
I have been.
The laws of logic, are they universal?
Which laws of logic?
Okay,
like
we're done.
Logic,
listen to me. We're
can
done,
I ask
Leo.
you a question?
We're done, Leo. No, we're done, Leo.
Do you understand that there are multiple forms of logic? Do you understand that there are multiple forms of logic?
Leo, we're done.
Do you understand that there are multiple
Leo,
forms of logic?
we're done.
So why do you keep responding to me?
My volume up or something?
I can hear you just fine now. Go ahead.
What did you want? I didn't hear what you asked.
I said you're going to have to read the essay this time or excuse yourself.
Oh, I have to read it?
Yes.
I was going to critique whoever was reading it. Stop them.
No, you can read it and critique the reading as you go along.
Hello, Sammy.
I'm prevented from reading your memos.
Sammy, you've met JG, haven't you?
Sammy,
not so much in person.
Oh yeah.
Sammy was on the original stream when I first came on with Wildheart, Will Freeman, and Sammy. That was like the original.
That's right. Yes, you were right, JG. Good memory. That's correct.
You remember that, Sammy?
I do now that you mention it. Yep.
We had like a 6 or 8 hour conversation that night.
Yeah.
You had the Step Brothers guy, Charles, whatever his name is, your avatar.
It was it Riley, Jim?
Yes.
John Riley.
I thought it was Charles. Whatever. Anyway.
John B.
Yes.
Riley, yeah.
Yeah. So y'all have met each other. Good.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Ace's essay.
Yeah, but I can't read Ace's memo. I'm not allowed to.
No, didn't you just say, Ace, that he could read it and stop and critique it along the way?
Yes.
I thought that was a very generous offer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I'm not allowed to read it for reasons that will not be spoken of.
Oh, I see.
Wait
so
a minute.
It's your own
Hold
rule.
on.
It's not Ace's
Wait,
rule.
that's mysterious. Since you can't
Yes.
talk about it, now we have a guessing game.
Yeah.
So you
No,
can't
you can't
read
get.
it.
You can't.
The
can't
fuck
tell
I
you if you-
can. I can guess. So hold on.
I
If you
can't
don't
tell you
correct
if you
me,
guess it though.
it doesn't matter. I don't mind that. I like the idea that I can paint the narrative however I want it, and you can't defend it. You understand? So by
No,
your
I mean, it
silence,
doesn't-
I get to create whatever I want to say is your reason for not reading it.
Well, yeah, you can do that. It doesn't mean
I
I'm
can.
protecting, though.
I know it, but you can't stop me from doing it. You can't defend what you're doing. So
It
that
gets in
makes
the
it
way
more
of.
fun.
It gets in the way of
So
what
Ace, how does that affect your demand here about him reading the text or not being able to stay? How does that work?
All right. So you come over here to either bust our chops or to steal content. So if you don't read it, then go ahead and leave, and I will also turn off your link so you won't have
when
the
you say-
convenience of sniping our content.
When you say steal your content, I'm a part of it. So I'm just sharing what I'm a part of.
Right, but
Read-
like that, not part of the plan.
Read the essay because it's for you, about you, to you, and concerning you.
It's not about me. It's about you.
All right, he's ready to go. Sorry,
Go ahead.
JG, you're
I mean,
gonna
you
have
guys.
to be ejected.
I'm really gonna get kicked for not reading the memo.
Can you read the memo?
It's your way of paying the rent for your seat.
Let me use your words.
What's up?
Can you hear me now?
Did I have my?
On radiometric dating and
Because
plate
all of that is based on presuppositions baked into the measurements themselves. And the people making these claims are going outside of the bounds of what can be known from observation and making gigantic metaphysical leaps and telling me gigantic stories about the origins of the universe, which is not justified on the basis of a lot of times physics things that are occurring that can be explained on both models. So a creationist and an evolutionary theorist or a Big Bang theorist or whatever, they can both have equally accurate descriptions of various phenomena. So that the phenomenon themselves are not going to tell us the gigantic age variations and differences. So that's when I say, how does empirical observation tell me a priori all of these gigantic descriptions of aeons of time? And the people that I asked that question to can never even tell me about their epistemic theory to begin with, or why I should believe in empiricism. So for me, none of it philosophically gets off the ground, because they don't even realize they're assuming all these metaphysical things and all of these things that go way outside the bounds of what empirical sense data can actually verify.
Okay, but you're saying the scientific process itself is not undergirded by like a proper philosophical basis?
Yeah, I'm saying that most of the time, the average biologist or life science guy or physicist, I'm trying to think of the people that I've had debates with from the science realm, neurobiologists, neuroscientists, like they don't know anything about philosophy. And I'm not saying that makes my position true. I'm just saying that when I start asking them questions about the scientific method, think they can't justify the method. But the method is supposed to be the thing that, in their view, confirms this idea of gigantic metaphysical truths. So how are we going to get back to metaphysical truths when modern scientism is premised on rejecting metaphysics?
Well, I don't think figuring out how old the Earth is a giant metaphysical question. It's just
there you go. So there you just demonstrated my point that science men have no idea what metaphysics is, and they don't even realize that absolutely that's a gigantic metaphysical question. Of course it is.
Well, it has gigantic metaphysical consequences, but the science itself is, when someone's conducting a scientific experiment or analyzing data or looking at radiometric evolution, processes, igneous rocks.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think metaphysics is?
What do I think metaphysics? I can't give you a definition of metaphysics, but
so hold on. So you know that science isn't making metaphysical claims, but you don't know what metaphysics is.
No, I think it has metaphysical consequences. I don't think a scientist has to be a philosopher. I mean, a grand philosopher of metaphysics, right? A scientist can just be doing scientific experiments.
Yeah, but that misses the whole point that I've just been making, that you don't realize when you're going outside the bounds of what the tool of the scientific method can tell you and what it can do, and you end up making these gigantic metaphysical claims, and that's the thing I'm calling into question. And then when I ask you what that is, you tell me you don't know what that is?
Well, I mean, just to get back to basics.
No, wait a minute. So yeah, let's back to basics. So how do you know that they're not making metaphysical claims if you don't know what metaphysics is?
I don't know that they're.
Not making metaphysical claims if you don't know what metaphysics is.
I don't know that they're. No, I don't know that they're making metaphysical claims. You're right, but I know that they're making scientific claims, right? So you're trying to poke holes in the scientific process by
you totally misunderstood what I said. I just said the scientific process is a tool for doing certain things, studying the natural world. It can't give you the things they want to make it do. That's what I said. So I absolutely believe in it. I never questioned the scientific method.
Okay, so just a basic question. So why does radiometric dating cannot give you evidence of the age of the Earth in millions of years or billions of years?
Because the methodology already has in the system, baked into it, the long aeons of billions of year date. It presupposes the thing that I'm questioning. That's why I said both models.
Well,
are you familiar? Hold on. Are you familiar with what's called the underdetermination of data problem?
Vaguely. I mean, I think I get what you're. Go ahead and tell me. I think I get what you're saying.
What is it vaguely?
Underdetermination of data.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that you're drawing a conclusion from the data.
No.
That cannot be drawn, is what you're saying, right?
No, it's a problem in epistemology where certain theories can be accurately and sufficiently explained by different models. And so piling up more evidences or more data, for example, is not immediately going to tell you which paradigm can explain the same data. So it's a famous problem in epistemology where it's a way to demonstrate or show that just having more data isn't going to tell you the paradigm of the data.
Recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit.
And does God will the good because he learns it, or does he will the good because he wills it to be, right? So it's just endless sophistry.
Hey Jay, yeah, I'm here. It's been a while. I've been waiting a while. Yeah, I'll just tell you straight up that I potentially have a gotcha question. I'm not going to be coy about it. Like you've expressed that you're not happy.
I appreciate that much more than the.
I mean, that's all this is, right? It's just like, hey, what's your answer to this, right? So
well, it's an open forum, yeah. So go for it.
So just actually, I don't even know if you for sure hold this position. So depending on position, but I've talked to several presuppositionalists recently, and they all hold to the idea that in order to have intelligibility, God, not necessarily the Christian God, just any concept of God, must have the quality of being always truth revealing. Is that something that you hold to?
Bless you.
Yeah. First, I would say I don't believe.
No, I was just laughing because he's like, any concept of the Christians say any concept of God. Like we never precept never.
Yeah, a Christian wouldn't say that, right?
Believe that there's a generic concept of God because the word God is not a rigid designator, doesn't pick out any specific deity, and is used for all kinds of different things. So the word God itself doesn't really tell us much outside of the rest of the system that we're talking about. But I would say that for us, yes, God's own character kind of dictates that, he's not going to do evil. Paul says it's impossible for God to, to lie or to do evil.
Right. So just to be clear, I mean, you're saying that because there seems to be confusion when I ask people this. The particular attribute of being always truth revealing, without that, intelligibility would be logically impossible. Is that correct?
So you're saying that some people have argued that in order to ground truth at all, we need a God who is always truth telling? You're saying that people have made that argument?
No, I'm saying that people are making the claim that in order to have intelligibility, God must have never, ever told a lie, even one, and he must have the attribute of being always truth revealing. Otherwise, it's somehow like logically impossible to have intelligibility.
It's a weird version of this. I don't know if I would make this argument. It's kind of a weird version. I don't know who has made that type of argument. I don't know that I would make this argument. So I would have to think about it.
That's fine.
That's
just
weird.
But just to be clear, you're like at least agnostic that God, we could possibly have the intelligibility we perceive, and God maybe is not always truth revealing. That's not contradictory.
Well, I think God is always truth revealing, and I think that ultimately I would ground truth in God, but it's just a weird, maybe not the best way to make this argument, to say that all knowledge is predicated on God being truth revealing, but maybe in a roundabout way I would make that argument.
Well,
if you read
not knowledge, intelligibility. So like the ability to interpret or understand.
I know what intelligibility, I mean, it's the two are related. So I'm just intending to express the same idea. So
well, some people will go even further and say something. Some people go even further to make an argument.
So he asked him to come in to tell him about other people's arguments.
That they know that God is always truth revealing because.
So this isn't like an argument a precept has made to Tom. What's going on here is Tom has this argument where he goes, you've heard him make this. Oh, what if Jesus wasn't born in Bethlehem? Let's say he was born in London, whatever, right? Can we still have intelligibility? And
given a detail in the Bible is wrong or something.
Yeah, and then the response would be, well, if God lies, then the Bible's not true, and then we wouldn't have intelligibility or something like that, right? And so he's taking the response to his argument, and then Jay's thinking the response or the counter argument to his dumb argument is like an argument a precept has made. You know what I'm saying? So he's thinking a counter argument is like. You see what I'm saying? He's presenting a counter argument as if it is the argument for precept, but it's just a counter argument to what Tom said against precept. It's a counter to a counter argument. Anyways,
he's just running the argument and the counter argument and saying that somebody told him that.
Yeah, so like Jay's kind of confused here. He's thinking like, why would a precept argue like that?
Yeah,
it's a weird way to argue because it's a counter argument to Tom's counter. It's to counter argument to Tom's pushback on precept. Anyways,
yeah,
we have intelligibility.
I would say that maybe ultimately that's true. It's a weird way to say it, but yeah, you could probably make that argument.
Yeah, I just don't see why anybody would say that or how they could defend that.
Because intelligibility would require a certain type of world and certain preconditions that lead to God.
And one of those preconditions is that God is always truth revealing.
Yes.
Why? I mean, why is that necessary?
Because we're grounding truth in the person of God. So we go beyond the Platonic, conceptual ideal justification. We're saying
it's kind of a duh thing, isn't it? I mean, like, if God's lying, that should obviously, if your source of truth is lying, then you don't have truth. Like, duh,
Yeah, seems pretty basic. Have you ever talked to Ace Theo?
A long time ago, I would just write him off as a nut job.
Well, then.
Saying that it's not just ideals in the Platonic realm, it's actually God himself. Because, again, truth claims require a certain kind of world. And a certain kind of world where you have objective criteria, where you have...
I could be wrong. Okay, like, what I remember is he takes that God is all in all, that one verse, and he creates like a whole religion off that one verse, which is like very bad hermeneutics. It's like literally the opposite. You're supposed to take the Bible as a whole.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't.
So these people who teach that we don't have a choice, they don't take the Bible as a whole, because God is constantly saying, Israel, choose me. Israel, I beg you, choose me. Israel, you keep turning to false gods, choose me. Like, why is God doing that if we don't have a choice? Is God stupid?
Like, yeah, that's what it comes down to, is different verses that show that we're choosing. But the thing about taking the position of hard determinism is when he tries to argue it, who's doing anything wrong? Who's responsible for any arguments or any behaviors?
Yeah, it makes God like evil, really. It's like,
yes,
exactly. And it destroys love, because we can't love God now. And what's the point of reading the Bible? Because I'm just determined to like do whatever, and reading the Bible's pointless.
Yeah, that's what it came down to. But he just keeps going anyway.
Well, yeah, they don't. When someone's like, yeah, they're crazy, so they don't. You can't reason with a flat earther. No matter how much evidence you show, they're just crazy people.
Truth and falsehood, and thus logical laws and universals. And so to have universals requires a certain kind of world.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just give a quick example that I use. So example is that someone is crawling on the sun-scorched sand of the Sahara Desert, dying of dehydration, right? And right before they die, God whispers into their ear. He says that there's an even number of hydrogen atoms in the universe, as opposed to the truth that there's an odd number, right? Now, instantaneously after he tells that lie, right, like this concept of God, halfway around the world in a diner in New York, a man orders a club sandwich. And now, because God told that lie, the waitress can't understand what he's.
Yo, this is out there, bro. Come on, dude. Talk about a reach.
So stupid.
Saying. Does that sound right to you?
Well, the analogy is false because it's predicated on a world in which God does lie. And our argument is that God doesn't lie.
It shows
so, I mean, I'm fine with thought.
It shows like their literal inability to think on any level under it's just all surface level all the time, never meta. They can't like think that far or something.
Yeah, they're unwilling to, or they can't.
Experiments, but it's a thought experiment that's not applicable to
Right.
our
I
worldview.
understand that your position is that the Christian God does not lie, but I'm asking for a conceptual analysis of, like, I'm asking basically for the contradiction where God tells that one lie in that situation, and now the waitress can no longer understand what
because you're not.
So it's like, I understand your position is God doesn't lie, but I want to make a hypothetical absurdity and hear you talk about it. That's not your position.
Understanding that the argument is about the comparison of systems at the paradigm level. It's not about giving a thought experiment example where you could think of a defeater.
Well, it is, because you said that the tag argument is used to compare worldviews.
What did I just say at the beginning? It's not a possible example in our system. So it'd be like saying, what if there's a world where God doesn't exist? Right? This is like JF's example that he gave when I debated JF. He's like, okay, well, without a world where God doesn't exist. See, I came up with a defeater.
It's like, but what if you abandon your worldview and then I argue with you? Maybe I can win that way.
Exactly. But I mean, that's fine. And I could just say
this is why I keep harping on. They're basically, if you break down what they're saying, when they're like, prove God, what's your evidence? What's your argument? They're going, adopt my standard, which says God doesn't exist, and now prove God. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, basically it breaks down to that. And then when you say it like that, it's just like, wow. I mean, how ridiculous you want to get.
You use the tag, right? As you said, you use it oftentimes to say, like, it's true. Your worldview is true,
right?
Because of the impossibility of the contrary, right?
Right.
So I'm presenting an alternative worldview.
Yeah, it's missing the argument, right? It's missing the argument. It's not a situation where you just think up whatever. It's a debate about preconditions of knowledge. So one of those preconditions I gave was the possibility of there being truth claims, the possibility of having true knowledge. And those are grounded in things like universal categories and or universals. So your argument, your hypothetical is skirting the actual question of preconditions for knowledge. And it's saying, well, what about a world where God lies?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm asking why.
It's not so much as a hypothetical as just a pathetical.
Yeah.
It's not just asserted blankly as a precondition, right? You think that there is a logical impossibility. You say,
yes,
my view is true due to the impossibility of the contrary.
Correct.
You bring your worldview to the table, and I'm going to show you the contradiction.
Yeah, you're not giving an actual worldview. You're giving a hypothetical system or example that's impossible in our worldview. So, in other words, if you're going to critique my worldview, it's got to be a critique of what's in my worldview.
Look, I'm asking you to just simply critique or give an explanation of what the contradiction is between a God lying one time and the waitress not understanding an order for a club sandwich.
No. He's explaining it to him, and he's just reverting back to, no, I just want to do it this way.
This is when you ask him the same question like 7 times in a row, and Jay keeps like,
yeah, this is extreme sophistry.
Yeah, it's like gaslighting, really.
Well, because it would be a defeater for multiple of his attributes, and therefore there would no longer be a possibility of grounding truth propositions and universals.
So it's just going to seem like it reduces to, like, when you say something like, if God is not always truth revealing, then you can't have intelligibility. That's equivalent to something like, if God is not jealous, then you can't have intelligibility. It's just going to reduce to, like, it's not, you can't have intelligibility because that's not God.
Like, not Jay's
God.
It's not. It's like, here, defend this God that you don't believe in. And Jay's like, why do I have to defend that God? I don't believe in that God. Can I defend the God I actually believe in? And Tom's like, okay, but what about the God you don't believe in? And Jay's like, yeah, but can I defend the God I believe in? And then he goes right back to this straw man over and over.
Yeah, it's weird that he's actively trying to do that. I'm just wondering if he actually thinks he really has something there, or he's just.
And it's not much different than what he did to Eli. These are bad faith tactics for that. Just optically, he maybe scores points because he's pretending like Jay's not answering the question when Jay's answering the question, and then he'll go back. Look, Jay couldn't answer my question.
Yeah.
It's not. No, you're missing that the argument is about grounding preconditions. Do you understand that or not?
Kind of.
Okay, what do you think I mean by that? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to make sure that you understand the flow of the argument.
Well, you're saying that you need to have God in order to even have knowledge, and these other.
Okay, so what are preconditions of knowledge?
Well, one of them is always being truth revealing. This is what we're discussing, right?
Okay, but there's a whole bunch of them. So the point is that anything that you say, anybody, presupposes a kind of world. You follow me there or not?
Okay.
So in a world where God lies and tells the truth, there's no longer any clear criteria of truth, not just arbitrarily, but for grounding the preconditions of truth. So it's not just a question of coming up with a defeater, it's giving an account for the preconditions.
So are you just saying something like, if God lied one time, we wouldn't know possibly
right back to it, right? Like he's not even having a conversation. That's actually insane. He's like got to stay with his script.
whether or not he's telling us the truth, and therefore he must always be truth revealing?
Again, the argument is about grounding the preconditions for knowledge.
That's just an argument from consequence.
No, it's not. It's an argument about the preconditions of all truth and all claims and all knowledge. It's much stronger than that. It's not an argument from consequence. It's saying that to have knowledge at all requires a certain kind of world. Do you understand that? A certain kind of metaphysics, a certain kind of epistemology, a certain kind of ethics.
Yeah, and I'm asking why.
Oh my God. Again, because
specifically with regards to this one attribute.
Because now we lose the possibility of truth values.
Yeah, but what's the contradiction though?
You're
just saying that like it can't possibly be the case because otherwise I might be wrong.
You're not understanding of what I mean by grounding the preconditions. So the preconditions are grounded in God. If God lies, then the preconditions are no longer true.
So walk me through how when God lies about the number of hydrogen atoms in the world.
Because all truth claims and predicates are grounded in universals. Universals are grounded in God. If you take out God, the universals go. Then goes predication. Is that clear enough?
I think so, but I mean, let's say that it's possible for God to even lie, but I mean, that wouldn't mean.
Okay, so again, you're reporting stupid ass questions that are not possible in the worldview. Do you not understand why that doesn't work?
Well, you were just critiquing.
It's like an overt attempt to straw man him. He's like, no, I want you to accept this straw man. And he just keeps going.
The view where he told a lie and then with the ramifications of that. So you're not unable to critique this worldview.
It's not an actual worldview. It's a hypothetical situation. You don't understand what worldviews are. Worldviews aren't
a collection of my beliefs and presuppositions, and
it's not a hypothetical that doesn't exist, right? So you're asking me to give an account for a hypothetical that in my system is impossible. So you can't import external to my system things that are impossible in my system.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying that, look, you said the tag argument is used to compare worldviews. I'm presenting a worldview in which this God tells a lie, and you're supposed to tell me how it's...
And I just told you why it doesn't work 4 times in a row. Do you need me to say it again? Truth claims, any truth claim, is grounded in something like, for example, universals. Universals are grounded in God. If God goes, the universals go. And thus the truth claims go. So again, you need me to say it the 5th time.
Now you're doing the external critique.
No, this is true for anybody's worldview.
Right. So truth in my worldview is just grounded in the same.
You
God.
haven't given a
God-
worldview because you haven't said what yours is, right?
Right. That's what this is all about. Like, I'm going to import hypotheticals and other people's worldviews and things philosophers said. I'm going to do everything except give an actual worldview. That's the problem over and over again with these guys.
So the only
Well, I'm
worldview,
agnostic,
the
but I
only one
don't
you
really see what that matters.
That's
the
just
only
an
one you
argument.
presented-
That's just an argument from consequence, JG.
Oh, shoot.
is the hypothetical that's not your actual worldview. You said, what about one where God lies? Okay,
Well, no,
believe
I
God
don't.
lies.
I don't dismiss this worldview.
Okay, I'm giving you an internal critique, and I'm saying that if God lies, then the universals go because they're no longer grounded in a truthful God. And if
So you
universals
can't-
go, all knowledge goes. Do you not see this? This is a very simple point.
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
Like, well, I just easily refuted your fake worldview. Do you want to give your real worldview? No. It's easier for me to bear my fake worldviews being shot down than my real one.
you're able
You want
to
me to explain
critique
it for
this
the sixth
worldview,
time?
right? So just
Do
to be
you
clear,
want me? I'm
just to be
critiquing
clear,
it on its
now,
own grounds. I'm
now you
critiquing it
are critiquing this worldview, which previously you said that
on
you're
its own
unable
grounds.
to do. Right.
On its own
So
grounds.
in this worldview, on its own grounds, God lies one time. What's the contradiction with now the waitress?
So for
understanding
the
the order?
sixth time, do you want me to explain it for the sixth time? The sixth time,
Yeah.
universals underlie all truth claims, all of them, everywhere. God grounds the universals. If God goes, the universals go. If the universals
Yeah, so
go,
let's say,
truth claims
yeah,
go.
the
So
ground.
again, do you need me to explain it the seventh time?
A sometimes lying God, in this case, just once.
Do you know what a
grounds
universal
all truth
is?
claims, right?
Do you know what a universal is?
I might not know what you mean by.
Damn, he's just unbelievable. Surprised he kept this up.
So let's move on because it's not, it doesn't matter what I think it is. It's a classic question of philosophy. Good Lord, dude.
Yeah, like,
these are like,
they had to kick me because I was owning him, dudes. They kicked me.
I know. Like, dang. Got kicked. If he only had a little bit longer, he would have got the point through the eighth time.
Yeah, maybe the 10th time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
So-
it. That's what we're seeing here is people bringing up other people's worldviews and hypotheticals.
This is the reprobate mind. This is the literal, like, he's just in such rebellion. Like, God's like giving him over to his like foolishness, and God's just let him be a total clown.
Yeah, Romans 1.
the master sophist. It's like they intentionally. How many do I need to? How about the eighth time? Want me to explain the eighth time? To predicate at all, to say the tree is green, right, requires universals. Now you can deny universals, but then you're in a whole other host of problems. But if we do admit universals, where are they grounded? Well, our system, our argument is that they're grounded in God, in the divine mind. So if God goes and God lies, then there's no longer any grounding for truth at all. And so now there are no truth claims because you can't ground them in anything above individual subjective experiences. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not asking you to accept God's existence from that point. I'm just saying that, do you see that that's not a problem in the argument because you're importing a hypothetical that's impossible in our system? It's like saying, oh yeah, well, I can think of a world where God doesn't exist and it's considered.
Do you recall me using the term straw mannequin? It's I give credit to Wildheart for inventing it last week. He said, okay, I want you to convince me of God and pretend I don't have a worldview. You ever heard that one? Like, how ridiculous is that?
I've never heard anyone say that.
Convince me of God and pretend I don't have a worldview. So he actually strawmanned himself into a being that doesn't have a worldview and wants me to convince him. Like, the ridiculousness of that hypothetical is beyond. So I'm
just
putting him.
that they don't understand anything beyond like scientist says this is true, therefore I think it's true. That's basically what they do. That
They don't understand when they implement that into a philosophical theory that there's more entailed in that.
Yeah, Jay was talking about the determination of data. I brought that up to, you know who Planet Peterson is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought it because under the determination of data is kind of like pointing towards tag, because it's saying that we need like an interpretive scheme to tell us what data means. But how do we know like what's the correct interpretive scheme? Because if we have the wrong interpretive scheme, we'll get a wrong output for what we think the data means. Like meaning doesn't come from data.
Right.
With
We apply our meaning to the data, formulate.
Like a transcendental argument, but it's a part of science. It's called the determination of data, and of course, like that just goes over their head. Even though that's a scientific thing, because I think it's like the philosophy of science, so they ignore that. They don't care about that.
Yeah, they don't really know. Typically, I've noticed when I ask people like what philosophies are involved in science or which philosophies does science assume, they don't typically know the answer to that. Like the general ideas of like identity over time, uniformity in nature.
One of them was saying that like a theory gets upgraded, a scientific theory eventually upgrades into a scientific law, and he said the scientific law is the same thing as the math equation. And I'm like, dude, you're like so wrong. Like the math equation is an abstraction, and the law is like a concrete observation. And he banned me. He's like, give me sources. And then I provided sources, and he blocked me out of the room. It's like, okay.
Well,
some people don't want to be wrong, I guess. I don't know. What he said was incredibly wrong, but
consistent. So refute that. How do you refute that, Theus? Because I just gave you an example where God doesn't exist, or God lies, or there's a computer on Mars that's just self-programming all the robots that planted the humans here, like JS example. That's a consistent worldview. How do you disprove it, dude? When he's missing the whole point that the question is about.
Yeah, it gets back to them thinking you have to disprove every worldview.
Yeah.
An account for the things prior to any knowledge claim. So he's just trying to acknowledge claims and saying, see, here's this hypothetical where your objection doesn't apply. And I'm saying you're not responding to the objection, because the objection is about preconditions of knowledge, not knowledge claims, preconditions of any knowledge claims. Two different things, but none of these people can figure that out.
But can't you just grant me this one lever and a fulcrum to put it on so I can move the whole world?
Yeah, like the guy before him with the Grimm's paradox. Well, I'm not using set theory logic. What? I'm not using any system. I'm not doing anything. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's where the conversation has to go.
I'm not making any claims. I'm not implying any oughts or shoulds. I'm just observing and speaking my observation. Right.
Justification.
No atheist can allow, yes, they can never allow you to critique their position because they know they'll be demolished.
Yeah, that's what you've been saying and pointing out, like in that last debate, you were there for like 2 hours and nobody gave any positive assertion. Somebody commented on the video on my channel, PMars0 Atheist 1.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it's hard to defeat a Platonist Muslim empiricist. They are notorious in philosophy as like they're just the Platonist Islamic empiricist is a school, a tradition that, yeah, I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, they got Allah, they got science. I don't know. I'm screwed.
That's why they have to fight tooth and nail to not have to give an account for the arguments that they're using. Like I was like, I'm not using an argument. Yes, you are. Why are you guys being so disingenuous? At least that last dude was not disingenuous. And he's like, no, I'm here to bring an argument. But they're all just playing like, oh, I'm not here to give an argument. I just want to ask you questions. And then like in the chat, they're like, ooh, I wrecked him. I destroyed that dude. He's wrecked. Yeah. So you're just a soy boy who can't just step up to the table and say what your argument is.
Jay is right. He's right. And I think he's right to rebuke them. because he's just 100% right there.
Yeah. Nailed it. I got a little bit more time if you wanted to pop something else on. You have anything else in mind?
Oh no, I got to do a Bible study. I should probably get to work on that because I got Bible study before church tomorrow.
Okay, man.
So
I'll be on later though if you have time later, if you're around.
I'll probably go live on TikTok and do my Bible study. My pastor gives us like a little sheet, and then I kind of do it on my live. So, but yeah, maybe I'll hit you up later. Well, how's is there any way to contact you? Is YouTube the best way to contact you, or what?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on there all day. I can give you
because
something in private chat if you want there.
Discord is good for sharing like PDF books and stuff if you're into that. But
I tried to get on Discord a while back and I was having trouble, so I just gave up. But
there's also like you can have conversations on there too with people. But all right, well I'll hit you up on YouTube.
Is there any way to like when you're doing a live? So you live stream on Discord and TikTok to YouTube simultaneously?
I go on TikTok on my phone, and then I'll like go on YouTube on my iMac. So it's kind of like usually people stream from like one setup and they multi-stream, but I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to get Restream to work. I don't really have that. I got kind of like
you can't invite anybody in from StreamYard when you're doing that. Like I can't sit on the panel with you. Is that a possibility?
You could come on. It work if you made a TikTok account. You could come on, but I think it also takes a while to like get the ability to go on a live stream. You might take a few days to like. I don't know how all that works, but initially when you make an account, I think it doesn't let you join a live. I think you have to wait a few days. But if you made a TikTok account, that'd probably be the best.
Okay, I guess I can look into that.
I'm kind of not really. I don't know. I'm pretty hated on TikTok, so my numbers aren't very good lately. I don't know. I was thinking about. So I've been reading. I think the NSAB is like the best word for word translation, and I went through. I'm trying to go cover to cover through the Bible since Christmas, because I've actually never gone cover to cover, which is embarrassing. So even though I study it every day, so then I got up to I'm like Joshua 11, and I'm thinking of switching to the NIV, which isn't a word for word very well. It's more like a meaning for meaning. Because it just like reads easier, and I feel like I just want to get the story. Like I just want to read the story and get the narrative. But then if I want to like do Bible study and know what like the words actually say, I would go to like my NSAB or something like that. Like use both of them. I don't know. What do you think about translations? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a tough subject for me, really. So much dispute there. It seems, I guess maybe just read them all over the course of your life if you can. Just
yeah. Well, I think the KJV is good. I mean, it's not. I'm not that nitpicky about it, but it's just like when I read the KJV, it's kind of archaic. You know, it's just I don't know. It's just easier for my brain, I think, to the more modern. You know, some kind of change the words to make it more modern, which it's good and bad because it can kind of change the meaning of what the author wanted. So it's good to have both to like go back and see what if you like want to do. I don't know.
You can get a KJV study Bible, I guess, that has footnotes.
Yeah, that's what I have. I got an NSAB study Bible. It reads a lot like the KJV though, because it's a super accurate word for word. The New American Standard.
Yeah,
it has footnotes, and that's pretty cool. But and cross references. Oh, this is so good. You know when they try to like isolate a verse out of context, I grab my study Bible.
Yeah,
and I'll cross references. So what's the verse? We could do it with Ace.
Oh yeah, he always isolates verses, but I mean, he even quotes Paul and then discards Paul too. So it's just
Yeah.
it's beyond ridiculous. I mean, he's gonna go to Romans 11:36 for sure.
It's 1 Corinthians 15:28. Isn't that his first one? His favorite one?
Well,
God
that's
is all.
one of them too. Yeah.
What does he use that to say that like everyone will be God or something?
I mean, I've gone beyond that into the philosophy, prior to whatever I don't even want to get into the Bible with him because I mean, if he's saying that we're all determined, we're not really working anything out. He's posited us in an illusion, in fact.
Yeah. It's kind of pointless to go into the Bible with like people who like they go to church tradition too, right? It's like, well, why do you even care what the Bible says? You'll just believe the Pope kind of a thing. Okay, it's 1 Corinthians 15:28. And then I have the cross references here. It cross references to Philippians 3:21 and 1 Corinthians 3. Let me see what the cross references say. This verse says, "And when all things are subjected to him, then the Son himself also will be subjected to the one who subjected all things to him, that God may be all in all." First Corinthians 15:28. Three. $3.21 and 1 Corinthians 3:23 and 12:6. Okay, so Paul's explaining the resurrection and end times order. The Christ the Son will defeat every enemy, including death, and all things will be placed under Christ's authority by the Father. And at the very end, Christ will hand everything back to the Father. The main point, this describes the completion of God's redemptive plan. Christ's kingdom leads to perfect order, with God the Father supreme as all in all, meaning God is everything to everyone, with no rivals, no mediation needed in the same way, and direct perfect relationship throughout creation. It highlights the functional subordination of the Son to the Father in the eternal plan, not a difference in essence or deity. So then it cross-referenced Philippians 3:21, who will transform our lowly bodies to be like his glorious body by the power that enables him even to subject all things to himself. This shows Christ's power to subject all things. It connects the future resurrection and transformation of believers' bodies in Christ's authority. The same power that rises and glorifies us in the power by which he brings everything under subjection before handing it to the Father. And then 1 Corinthians 3:23, and you are Christ's, and Christ is God's. Link this to a short chain of belonging. Okay, so we belong to Christ, and Christ belongs to God the Father. And so that mirrors the idea that the Son ultimately is oriented to the Father, and everything, including us, finds its proper place under God through Christ. It reinforces order and unity in the Godhead and among believers. So this is just talking about the order. This isn't saying like, see, this is like what happens. So what he takes us to be like what? Like everyone will go to heaven or something.
Yeah, you don't have a choice in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I always bring up what's on the screen there. Isaiah 55:8-9. It shows a distinction between, your thoughts and your actions and behavior and your choices. It's clear there. Hard determinism doesn't work biblically or realistically, even in argumentation. Like, what are we what are we driving at when we're saying that, when we're fully determined, right? Like right off the bat, like how did you evaluate the truth or the falsity of that idea itself? And whatever comes next is just determined information. Like you're never really getting to any knowledge. You're destroying the possibility of any determined.
He's right that God has a plan and like God's going to get what he wants. I mean, that's true, but that doesn't mean that God can't incorporate our free will choices into his plan.
Yeah, that's where he deviates.
I think of like a cruise ship, right? If you're on a cruise ship, you can't control where the captain steers or the destination of the cruise ship. You can't control that, but you can control like what you eat. Are you going to dance? Like, what are you going to do? Like, you have choices, even though it's like there are determinations, things that you don't have a choice.
Yeah, there's things within the domain that you can do, and you do choose.
Yeah,
it also gets lost because when you bring that up, he'll tend to say like, oh, you're saying that man can thwart God's plan, that man's will can do all these things against God. Well, I mean, it speaks that man chooses against God, but can he thwart his overall plan? No. But, again, instead of getting into all the different arguments in the verses, I think similar to the presuppositional method, you just go to his underlying philosophy before he even starts the conversation. He's like, you're not doing anything, I'm not doing anything. He's a moral relativist as well.
I think what you do is like assume their view and then like show the absurdities, I suppose. That's probably like the best thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's everything that he says. It says, so God made you say that. So God made you do that. God made you sin. It becomes a yes. And how do you know? You're just determined to say that you know, and on and on and on. But
that's why the atheists love to debate the Calvinists, because they'll be like, did God make the guy grape the baby? And then they'll have to go, yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's one I use. I definitely use that one too. So like, I think this is like a universalist. These are the kind of comments you get. Like, man is so important and capable. It becomes like a shaming of like thinking that you're a big, powerful man and you're not focused enough on God. They just keep missing the point that if you hold this determinism, like you're not doing anything and you can't point the finger and say someone's doing something wrong, and on and on and on.
It's not about us. We're saying, what does the Bible say? The Bible is very clear. God keeps telling us we have a choice. He keeps saying over and over again. He asks, choose me, choose me. And people keep rebelling. And he keeps going, I wish you would choose me. It's sad you don't choose me. Over and over. Like when Israel demands a king. And God's like, I don't want you to have a king. I'm your king.
Right. I think they turn it into a story where like, oh, God's not really sad. He's not really that weak. It's like, no, it's not. That's not the point.
Well,
what you think God is doing there, it's clearly written that people are not choosing him.
So what they're doing, they're stressing like one of his attributes over the others. They're making like his sovereignty the most important attribute, right? But because God is also love, he's not just sovereign. I mean, he's both. But because he's love, he's also vulnerable. Does that make, like...
Yeah, I get into that, like, you can't force love.
Yeah. So...
I'm not sure what this question means to you.
Remonstrant? I don't know what that means. I'll Google that. I guess I'm not if I don't remember the Armenian. I gotta study. I don't know a lot about the difference between the Armenian and the Calvinism. I suppose I would be an Armenian. I reject tulip, so does that mean I'm Armenian? Probably am. I think I'm Armenian. Yeah.
What about this comment? Does that mean anything to you?
Choose God just in case he didn't choose you. Well, there's a sufficient condition and like a necessary condition. So like God gives, I don't know what he's saying here. Like God, there's people that God doesn't choose. God would choose God would give the gift of salvation to everyone. But then some people don't open the gift.
Yeah, they frame it like, no, he did give it to everyone, and there's nothing you can do about it if
No, they have to say that he only gave it to certain people. He only gave it to his elect. But then that makes John 3:16 seem weird, right? Or that even the blessing, because God told Abraham, like, your seed will bless all nations or bless the world. So if salvation doesn't go to everyone, then then God's a liar.
Hmm.
But it does. It's like this Calvinist was like, how do I open the gift? I go, salvation's like a gift from God. He's like, how do I open the gift? I go, with your spiritual hands. With your magic hands. Anyways, well, I better start on my study. I'll
Okay,
talk to you.
man. Take care, man. I'm pretty much out of time myself, so I'll pop back on later and probably get into some critiques if you want to bring something up, Peter. And Ace, I think that your channel's down, so you're probably wanting something to do. So if you want to talk to P Mars later, you can come by. I mean, just throwing that out there. I won't interfere if you don't want me to. You feel too ganged up on, but it's somebody new you can talk to, but you're probably not going to get very far with them. But you can try. Yeah, grace to you, Lawrence. I'm not going to get everything figured out, but I think it's important that we have a foundation that makes sense before we get into these large-scale discussions. That's where I focus. Yes, I'll get there. You guys have been through all this. I know you guys tell me, oh, yeah, we were there. We were there studying presuppositional apologetics, although we know nothing about them. I love how you guys say that you were there. You guys over in the Universalist camp just ignore like fundamental ideas of like being fully determined and then making arguments. Like, why is that lost on you guys? Like, how would that work in a world? And what do you do with the verse on the screen here? For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. I mean, if you're going to say that everything you're doing is what God is making you do, and everything you're thinking, like, what is this verse telling you? Are you guys saying, oh no, this is just between God and Isaiah, God and Israel? Like that the human condition changed since then? I mean, really, how do you get past an idea like this? Like the Universalist is telling us that God is making them sin. They're telling us that God is evil and he's going to save us all. but I do have to go for now. Thanks, Peter and Whitney, and even you guys, Ace and Lawrence, for popping on here. Whoever else might be out there, but if you want to later, pull some stuff up to critique, some stuff that might have happened recently that's interesting. And if anyone wants to pop on and do a critique with us or with me, PMARS has been around a little bit lately, and that's been cool. You can pop on for a little while. Don't feel like you're obligated, like you have to stay. It's good to have more people involved. Either way is fine, but I'm just saying, if you did feel like you wanted to pop on, there's no obligation to like stay the whole time. If you just come on for a few minutes, half hour, that's cool. But I will see you in a few hours, likely. Take care and God bless.